Welcome everyone back to Shenanigans with Mr. Jones. I am Mr. Jones, and in this one, doing a Thanksgiving brisket. Yes, it's not 100% traditional. We don't want to do just ham, turkey, and the sides, tradition, blah, blah, blah. We're doing that for 20 plus years now. We've been switching it up ever since we've been on our own. And every year we've done some sort of barbecue. Now that I got a nice smoker out there, one that I trust more than a gas grill, I've been venturing off and trying new things that you guys have seen so far. Taking a pretty big leap here, and we're gonna try out some beef brisket. Not just a flat, not just a point, the whole shebang. This is a beef brisket. I believe it was an 8-pound brisket. I got it from a store called Smart and Final. Don't know a whole lot about brisket. All I know is I've been doing a lot of research, looking at videos, looking at tutorials, all that sorts of stuff to try to figure out how I should do this brisket. And what I've kind of figured out is that it's an 8-pound brisket. It should cook an hour to an hour and a half per pound. So we're looking at about a 9-hour, 9.5-hour cook at the max, at the minimum, probably 8 hours. It is a pretty decent looking brisket from as far as what I can tell. I picked this one up a couple of days ago. Before we get too far, it's 8 o'clock at night right now where I am. The next time you see me, I won't be talking because it'll be very early morning and I don't want to wake up the family. So I'll be doing either a voiceover or you're just gonna see what I'm doing, and I'll have some sort of instructions on what I'm doing somewhere on the screen. But what we're going to do, obviously, we bought it already, so we're gonna get it unwrapped, get it rinsed off. I'll make a foil boat down here so that I can make some trimming, or so I can be able to trim it and show you guys what it looks like. So I'll show you guys this brisket real quick, but other than that, once I get my hands on it and get it rinsed off, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of talking. I don't exactly know 100% how to trim it. I'm trimming it to what I've seen other guys do. Obviously, if there's a big decal, I want to get rid of that. I want a 1/4 inch of fat on the flat. If there's a little more, I might just leave it just because I want to see what happens when I cook it. Some silver skin, if there is a whole lot of it that I can obviously noticeably see, we'll get rid of that as well. But this is a beginner's first timer's brisket on Thanksgiving. So we're not gonna go too crazy on it. We're gonna go pretty simple, sort of Texas style. We're gonna do salt and pepper, maybe some paprika as well, but we're not gonna get too crazy with it. If I do make any changes, you guys will know because I'll have it on the screen for you to see. So I'll let you see this brisket real quick, then after that, I'm not gonna be talking anymore. So you stand by for what's up. Alright guys, it's been 4 hours of this brisket. Got up this morning at about 5 o'clock to get this guy on. We did do a cold start. That's what I'm going to call that, cold start. Anytime I do any kind of thing on this grill where the grill's not on, not putting the meat on, we're just going to call that a cold start. So like I said, we got up this morning at 5 a.m. to do a cold start on this brisket. Before I got up at 5, I got up at about 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning to take the brisket out, and it stayed in the foil pan, and it just hung out and just kind of came up a little bit closer to room temp. And in my house, it was about 70-ish degrees. I like it cold. I'm from Chicago, so cold don't bother me like a lot of folks. So it came up from about 37, 38 degrees and came all the way up to 55 in that hour and a half or so that it was hanging out on the counter. So like I said, we're at the 4-hour mark. I've been coming out and spritzing it. Let me rephrase that. After the 2-hour mark, because I didn't really want to mess with it within those first 2 hours. I wanted to see what it was going to do. I gave it a spritz right as I put it on the grill, so that was its beginning moisture. I didn't spritz it again until the 2-hour mark. Like I said, I didn't want to touch it in between that time. So the 2-hour mark became spritzed at 2 hours, and spritzed again at 3 hours, and here's the 4-hour mark. Filming this because I want you guys to take a look at it, and also I'm kind of split between wanting to wrap it and or rather leave it on. Like I said, we are using oak, so we might wrap this because oak is a strong flavored wood, and it might get too smoky or it might make it too dark. But we'll see here in a sec after probably a little bit longer. But we're gonna spritz it, and I'll get you guys in so you can take a look. Of course, I got pictures at every hour except the 2-hour mark, except the 1-hour mark. So 2, 3, and 4, you're gonna have pictures and stuff, of course, with the rest of the video. But we're gonna spritz it, and I'm using just some simple beef broth. I'm keeping it pretty simple with this cook. Sort of Texas style, if you want to call it like that. Salt, pepper, garlic, and paprika is all the seasonings that I use on it, and beef broth to spritz. Why? Just because I want to, like I said, I want to keep it simple, and I want to keep it beefy, or essence of beef. I don't want to get too wild with it. This is my first time doing brisket, so I want to keep it basic, I want to keep it simple, and learn from this and go forward from here. Yeah, I could have did pecan wood. I could use my hickory that I got left, and then onion and cumin and oregano, all that type of stuff on the brisket. But then I wouldn't know how I made how a regular brisket that I made comes out. You want to start simple and build from there, and then venture off and try new things. If you start wild and all in and do all this interesting stuff on the first time you've ever done something, you're never gonna know what the basic is. You're never gonna know what simple is. So that's what this is. So right now the brisket is sitting at 155 degrees internal temp. We are going to spritz it. I might come back here 30 minutes from now to see what the temperature is, and but when I came out of the 3-hour mark, I think the internal temp was 145, and we've only gotten to 150 and 155 just now. When I first came out here, it was 150. Now it's 155. So in the 4 hours, it's only come up 100 degrees. So we might wrap and we might not. But I'll bring you guys in so you can see. As you guys can see, we're getting some good color. Nice mahogany red going on this guy. Alright guys, so brisket's been on for 5 hours now. At the 4-hour mark we were at 150, 155-ish, and we've stalled out at 155. Okay, so I'm going to pop it open so you guys can take a look. We're going to take this thing out off the pit and wrap it and take it inside and wrap it with some foil. That is considered the Texas crutch because you're using foil, but that's okay with me. Like I said,
I'm a newbie when it comes to brisket, at least cooking it. So we're gonna get it done. Now, got my gloves, got some little cotton liners underneath so I can feel it and not burn my fingers. So you guys watch this. Look at that. Feels good. Got beautiful color on this thing, guys. See that? Alright, so guys, as you guys can see here, got the brisket off the cooker, and now we're gonna wrap it. Like I said, still sitting at about 155 degrees, so we're gonna wrap it. We're gonna try to get it nice and tender, of course, but as far as internal temp, we're not cooking to an internal temp specifically. We're cooking for doneness, but it should be around the 200 to 210 degree range from what my research has shown. So in order to wrap this, like I said, we're not going to get too fancy. We're just going to spritz it, give me a little wider spray. It's nice and moist. This is the last time we're going to see this brisket until it's done. Okay. Then we're going to take some of that same beef broth and just pour it down inside of here, just to give ourselves a little bit of juice for this thing to braise in. And you want to kind of prop your foil up so that you don't lose all this juice, of course. I am thinking about setting this inside of a pan just in case it does leak or crack or break. We don't want to lose all that juice that's down in there. But here we go, back on the grill. We're gonna put that probe somewhere in this area. Just keep it temped, and then see you guys when it's done, I guess. All right, guys, it's been 7 hours on this cook. So 7 hours, and the internal probe is showing to be 205. We're gonna take this thermoprobe and probe it and see if we get any other readings and go from there. If it is done, we're gonna just take it off. I got a foil pan here. We're gonna stick it in there and gonna let it rest up. If I can get my cooler out, we'll stick it in the cooler. If not, it'll just hang out in the towel or so. But here we go. Showing 202. Pretty soft. Just a little bit of resistance on that. That's really soft there. I didn't get anything right there. Get a little bit of resistance, not a whole lot. So we're going to leave it off for a little bit longer. Let it get a little bit more tender, and then we'll pull her off. So, like I said, it's been seven hours and some change now. So, once it gets maybe a little bit closer to 8 hours, we'll pull it off then. But we'll bring you back then and show you that. Guys, had this brisket on for 8 hours now. So I believe it was the last 3 have been wrapped, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the last 2. Either way, Probe is reading 110, or I'm sorry, 210 now. And now we're going to probe it to see what we get. I'm hoping this guy is done. Oh yeah, that's tender. I think that's good. That's about as far as I'm gonna take it today. And so now we're just gonna get it off. All right, guys. So tri-tip has been in this here foil pan boat for somewhere in between 2 and 3 hours while we cooked everything else up here for Thanksgiving. And now here comes the moment of truth. Here we go. Oh. Check that out. Oh yeah. Obviously the grain is running this way, so we're going to try to cut this way. Okay. Sorry, I'm a newbie here. All right, so we're going to try to Okay, so like I said, this is my first attempt at some brisket. Here's a piece from the center. So it's not super tender. Actually, it might be. It's not super tender. It's not really touching itself. It's not hanging as freely as it possibly could, but it's hanging pretty nicely. And I think I'm gonna be satisfied with that, being that this is my first attempt. You guys can see there, pretty nice smoke ring going around the meat. Got a little fat on the bottom, that's all right. Here's a pull test. Pulls pretty nicely. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little taste. You know what? That's not bad. Of course, I think I could have done a lot better had I had a little bit more experience with this specific cut of meat. Very traditional style, very traditional tasting. I sliced it on 100%, the right thickness. I like really thick cuts of meat. That's just me, how I am. But you want to get a number 2 pencil on the flat and a big pencil on the point because it's fattier. But for being my first attempt on a brisket for Thanksgiving of all days, I would say that I didn't necessarily disappoint, but of course with a little bit more practice, this could be awesome. Now, something that I usually forget to mention is, does it taste smoky and the smoke flavor on this meat? Like I said, I used just oak today on this brisket, and might I say, you don't, maybe in my mind I'm looking for a flavor like pecan or hickory or maple or cherry or apple, but oak, it is a strong wood, and as you see, it's got great penetration.
but you don't really have a flavor. At least not to my palate. But it is tasty and it is good. So I'll try to get a couple pictures of this, guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed this cook. I definitely tried my best to get it as close as I could to being a 5-star brisket. We're just gonna say I'm a work in progress, and I'm okay with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you learned anything, if you saw anything that I could improve on, please share your comments. I would greatly appreciate any help, and so would my wife, because we're gonna be the ones sharing this meat. So hopefully I can get this video up before Thanksgiving, which is tomorrow. If I don't, happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas. You guys have a good one. Be safe out there. Let's have fun. Let's barbecue. Bye-bye.